Hey everybody, Jimmy here with the Triple C Collective for another Superhero Saturday. Today we're going to dive into Peacemaker Episode 6, Murn After Reading. This episode was really good. I really liked it. As the show's gotten on, overall, I've really liked the show more and more as it's gone on, and I know a bunch of other people are liking it. It's got all kinds of really great ratings. That's awesome. I'm glad it's a hit. Um, this episode, though, let's dive right into it. It picks up right where episode 5 left off, where we see Adebayo being chased out into the street from their Peacemaker HQ, out into the street by Murn, and is knocked to the ground, and it's all pouring rain, and Murn's looking over. And then at this point we get Harcourt shows up, and Adebayo is freaking out, Harcourt, give me my gun. Murn's a butterfly. But she's like, Murn's a butterfly. Um, and Harcourt is unfazed, completely unfazed by it, and is so unfazed to the point of just hands her gun back and is like, so you didn't tell her? And Harcourt was in on Murn being a butterfly now for a little bit. They bring in Adebayo. The bomb explosion was the tip off to Harcourt, because Murn had next to nothing in damage done to him, and due to that, any normal person she felt would have died or would have been severely injured, and he barely had anything going on with him. So she confronted him after that. We didn't see any of that, obviously. So Harcourt, Harcourt confronts Murn. Murn admits it, but Murn says that he's not trying to be part of the butterflies that are taking over the world. He wants to stop them. He just wants to live out his life here or whatever. And he decided to take over somebody who was a really, really bad person. We get all of that. We get the weird Adebayo is wondering how you would say the butterfly queen leader's name, and we get an eek stick eek, and it is really funny. It is really funny because Mern's it won't translate. It doesn't translate to English. It'll just kind of be some sounds. And Adebayo's I want to hear it anyhow. What's her name? And so Murn gives it to her. It's a really interesting development. The everything is kind of out here now. Adebayo asks about John Economos, if he knows about it. Harcourt's yeah, he usually just puts his fingers in his ear and just starts walking away so that he doesn't have to pretend to hide anything from Waller or anything like that. Which is actually really funny. That's that's a really great bit. We get Adebayo is having a hard time with working with Murn here and all of this, with this new recent development. Has a problem with the abduction of them abducting bodies and taking over it. That's when Murn starts to, or at least Butterfly Murn starts to explain. I'm just going to refer to him Murn. That's going to start getting really confusing. Murn just explains to Adebayo that Murn, before I got into him, was a really bad person, did a really lot of bad things, but even I saw once I took him over that he was capable of change if I guess presented it the right way or given the option of it or whatever. this butterfly that's inside Murn, said that he felt that the person that Murn was before the butterfly was in there could change despite how bad he was. Um, so that's why he took him over to try and like start doing this change from like this bad guy going forward and all of that. Um, we get everyone now knowing that Murn is a butterfly, except for Peacemaker. He is still the only one completely in the dark here. Uh, we get Harcourt saying that again we can't trust Waller. We can't trust Waller out of bio. Like nobody, as far as I know, up until this point, nobody knows that Adebayo's mom is Waller. So yeah, as of right now, nobody knows that, and I am. I'm really liking this episode. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty great beginning here, and then we get the title sequence. Again, it's still really weird. It's still really kind of. It's still pretty off-putting to me as I like everyone dancing and stuff. Excuse me. All straight faced. It's just very off-putting. Uh, we see that this is also written and directed by James Gunn. James Gunn has done. He wrote all 8 episodes. He directed 5 out of the 8 episodes, and this would be if he directed the first 3. This would be number 4. And then after, so this is episode 6. We've got 7 and 8, so we'll have 2 more episodes after this. I'm pretty excited. This has been, like I said, each episode I feel like the show has gotten better and better as it's gone. I really like the show. I like the supporting cast and characters. I still don't know. I mean, at this point, I guess like without Peacemaker having his show, I don't get his supporting cast that we get in here, and that I guess that's why he deserves his own show, is because just like the Suicide Squad, it's about the like total ensemble, not just like any one individual character, despite one individual character like being the heart and soul of like the movie. Beside the point. This is really cool. This has been a really fun like little like journey through it all. But now we finally get what we saw in all of like the promotional material and everything, is like Peacemaker at like a school. And we see him like in front of the school I'm sorry, in front of the classroom of a bunch of like little kids, and then we see off to the side the janitor custodian guy from the hospital, all the way from episode 1, Jamail. He is great. This dude's so funny. He's like, yeah, he's right there. And Peacemaker answers a bunch of questions. He's giving all these kids terrible nicknames, like bullying, like making fun of them nicknames. Then he gets he gets people asking like, has he ever met Flash, Wonder Woman? He gets called out by a kid saying that I can see right through you. I know that like I can see right through you, and I know that you're a loser. And it's just like, damn kid, well done, well done, dude. You did great. That is awesome. I found that to be absolutely hilarious. We get again, he's in front of the class. It's like a show and tell or Q&A basically kind of thing with Peacemaker. He gets asked about his do you have an origin story? Do you have a coterie of supervillains? No, I don't have a coterie of supervillains. He kind of snaps that answer off. When asked if he has like an origin story, we get another quick flashback to after like the after effects of the fight with his brother, after his brother kind of seized up and almost looked like he was foaming a little bit at the mouth there. And so once we see that little bit of the like after effect of his brother just kind of laying there, we see his dad, call him a dumb fuck um, for killing his brother. Basically, not basically, he did kill his brother in that fight. Um, Possibly could have had some damage from like hitting his head when he fell down, but it almost looked like it was beside the point. We get that quick little flashback, and he like Peacemaker's answer after that is like, not in the traditional sense. I didn't have an origin story in the traditional sense, which is really great. It's really like his response to it is like funny because he gets like all sullen when he's like kind of been excited the entire time. But that's also like kind of the thing. Like everyone has a dark origin story in like comics and like superheroes and stuff. Everyone has their origin, so that was cool. That was neat. We get one girl asking if Peacemaker knew Becky Coolidge, because I think you might be my real dad. And then like the teacher ends the Q&A. Jamel then walks out of the walks out with Peacemaker, and is like, yeah, when I told my daughter that I know a superhero, and he told me if I ever needed anything, I can give him a call. And Peacemaker's like, I never said that to you. It's a great little bit. We find out that like Jamel was just trying to like one up another kid with like a cool person to bring in to his class and everything, and it was great. It was really awesome. I loved every little bit of this. We get after we move on from the jail, we get or I'm sorry, not from the jail, from the school. We move to the jail. We get Peacemaker's dad being released from jail. He um, he gets released from jail, but of course, White Dragon and the detectives have some back and forth. Detective Song has some really great zingers for him, and like really kind of capitalizes on it. And then Fitz just kind of messes it up. He goes too far. It's just not good. And it just like kind of like kills it. And Detective Song's like, come on, like I had him. Like why'd you say like wouldn't want to be it? What was that? And he's like, Fitz is like, I know I messed up. The captain's furious when he walks in, or when he walks up to Fitz and Detective Song after they had just released Peacemaker's father, because they explained that they took all the evidence to a judge. They leave out the fact that judge was her uncle, and that they took all the evidence to the judge, got a search warrant for Peacemaker, for Christopher Smith, Peacemaker. So of course they had to then release. They then had to release Peacemaker's dad, White Dragon. So they go ahead, they release him. Captain's all mad about it. We get a cutback. We get the captain walking away, the detectives walking away. We go back outside. We see White Dragon walking into like one of his Aryan brothers' pickup trucks, and that guy's like, "Well, what's the plan, boss?" He tells him the plan. It ultimately ends with him now with Peacemaker's dad going after Christopher Smith, Peacemaker, to finally kill him. In his words, he's, "I'm gonna kill my son of a bitch son." It's crazy. It's wild. We get back to Peacemaker's house. He is feeding his animals. He is, giving the honey goopy stuff to the butterfly. Goff, and then he is also feeding like pieces of meat to Eagly. We get a little bit of a cutback to the HQ, where we have like Adebayo and Harcourt again debating more about Morn. Do you trust him? Can we trust him? Are we sure he's not just trying to like infect us as well, and like just trying to get us to trust him and like to eventually double cross us? Um, Harcourt is like, no, as of right now to this point, all signs point to that he is working against an alien invasion. He is trying to help us, and he is on our side. Um, we also finally see Economos. He walks in. Harcourt says, "Oh yeah, Economos. Adebayo knows that Murn's a butterfly," and like we see John, Economos, just plugging his ears, and he's like, ah la 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 la, like just doing that, and I was like, oh, he really does just put his fingers in his ears. That's okay. It's so great. We get after we get the after we get Economos with his ears, we get he goes to work, starts looking up stuff. Adebayo gets asked about the diary, like, did you know anything about that? Did you leave it? She said no. We get the back to the police station. They start gearing up for a raid on Peacemaker's home. At Peacemaker's home, then we cut back to there. Vigilante shows up. He has the weird knock. Peacemaker is like, come on in, Adrian. And Vigilante's dressed up in his vigilante suit, Adrian Chase, and he's like, how'd you know it was me? He's like, you're the only one who knocks like annoyingly like that. And Vigilante's like, oh, okay. It's really funny. It's really great. I love their two relationship. They're absolutely like wacky and wonky in all of like my favorite ways. It's just so funny seeing John Cena's Peacemaker and Vigilante just like work with each other on screen. It just works so well. It's wonderful casting. We also then get Murn gets a call from his fixer, his mystery man, the guy Captain Locke, and Locke is letting him know about the warrant out for Peacemaker's arrest, and people and the cops are looking for him and heading towards him, and Murn is super pissed at John Economos about this, and they are now trying to reach Peacemaker to tell him to get out of his house so that he can try and escape. We get Peacemaker and Vigilante then asking like a bunch of yes no questions, despite Vigilante not understanding the reasoning of just yes no questions, asking Butterfly Goff if Goff drew a peace symbol, and like if he's here in peace, and like Peacemaker and Vigilante are going back and forth to each other about like, it's got to be yes or no. We just explained the rules. It's yes or no. How are we going to ask a yes or no question and find out if his favorite color is teal? I'll ask yes or no of every single color until we get to teal, and we'll find out what his favorite color is. And if it's teal, isn't that interesting and something you would like to know? All of it is like really wacky and awesome, and I love every little bit of it. It's super fun. Uh, we get the police uh, getting ready to, or the police arrive outside surrounding Peacemaker's house. Surrounding Peacemaker's house, there's a dog peeing out front. They start surrounding it. They Murn and company at the Peacemaker like HQ with all of them. Finally gets through to Peacemaker via Vigilante. Vigilante picks up his phone, has Barbie Girl as a ringtone. Vigilante denies who he is at first. Peacemaker just picks up the phone, asks, "What do you guys want? What do you need?" They're coming to get you. We have like a "they're coming to get you, Barbara" kind of moment here, and it was really awesome. It was really great, and I loved every little bit of. It's just so great. This show with like some of the wackiness that they're able to pull off with this stuff is just awesome. Once Murn finishes his call with Vigilante, the police are outside. They're done giving a list of like random movies or whatever that he was doing. It was all kind of weird. But they start gathering all their stuff after the phone call with Murn. They start gathering it to get ready to leave and head out through the roof of Peacemaker's house. They let Eagly out, and one of the sheriffs see Eagly up on the top there. Didn't necessarily see it fly in, but just like notices it there. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, but you couldn't see, and like obviously for story, this is something that I just didn't understand with size and placement of what we saw of things. From far away at the angle of like the sheriff, it looked like the walls on the top of Peacemaker's uh, roof basically seemed to have like some walls that would kind of be taller than what they were, because like when we're in there with Peacemaker, they only look to be covering like maybe a foot, at max a foot off the ground, maybe only 6 inches off the roof. I'm sorry. So when they open up the hatch to get out, how does that cop see Eagly but not see the hatch there? Because like I don't see it in the shot, but I feel like you should be seeing it in that shot based on how Peacemaker looks. Maybe I need to watch it again, but I don't know. This is one of these like weird little spatial things that I just don't always. I just didn't get it. I just think that the cops would have seen Eagly and then Peacemaker and then Vigilante all escaping off the roof there, and definitely would have seen that hatch like open at the top there. But I don't know. I don't know. It's just that it's one thing in this entire like sequence, and definitely in this entire episode, where I was like, that doesn't make sense to me. And this is a show about Peacemaker. Something that I was saying about in the entirety of the show and during episode one is like don't understand why there is a show for Peacemaker. I don't think he deserves it, but I really like this show, and I'm really enjoying. I'm really enjoying all the other characters, like all the side characters, minus White Dragon. White Dragon can hit bricks, but he's been here the entire time, so tough hang, tough hang. Um, they get out, they start escaping, they get kind of chased around like the back. They're kind of getting surrounded a little bit more from other cops. Detective Song gets out there. They get inside Peacemaker's. They get inside Peacemaker's house. He's not there. They start trashing it, looking for whatever they can find. Somebody finds the diary that Adebayo or like slipped in there the night or two before, and definitely last episode. And like starts seeing like one of the officers is reading it and just is like kind of like shocked at some of the stuff they're seeing in there. We get Vigilante outside, basically Vigilante and Peacemaker kind of hopping through like the trees, like on the top of the trees or in the middle of the trees, basically hopping branch to branch to branch, trying to like get away and escape. Eventually, Vigilante like slips, falls. Butterfly Goff in his container for Butterfly Goff that was duct taped around him breaks, shatters, butterfly golf, enters detective song. One other sheriff turns around the corner, sees Peacemaker and Vigilante kind of running away as Detective Song like is spitting up the blood, and the butterfly is finally like completely in her mouth and can't be seen, but blood is still kind of coming up from like the burrowing aspect of like the butterflies going up into the cranium and all of that. Uh, it's freaking wild. It is so bloody. It is so good. And then we get Peacemaker, Vigilante running away into the forest, being chased by the different cops. We get by the different search team of like all the cops that are there that were executing the search warrant. We get Vigilante kills like a dude at like one of the officers with a knife as they're running away. Peacemaker gets Eagly to come with him, and this is where we get an awesome like Eagly just attacking, tearing people apart and killing them. We get like a really great like Eagly pecking an eyeball out. It's gnarly, gnarly, and everything about this episode has been like really good. Again, each episode has gotten better and better and has grown on me. Like like each episode is the show has gotten better with time. Each episode has grown like the right way consecutively to make me keep wanna watching. But that first episode's a tough hang, real tough hang. Uh, then we get a cut back to from like away from Peacemaker and Vigilante running through the forest. We get Detective Song and Fitzgibbons together. Detective Song wakes up because Goff is finally totally taken over, and she starts talking differently, not like in a different accent or anything, but like talking like kind of robotically almost. Um, Not even like that. It is almost like a different mind. Like a different mind is now talking for her, which is really true. Is really what it is. So it's a really great like bit of acting on her part. Uh, Detective Sophie Song. God, I can't. I didn't write down that actress's name, and I'm terrible because I didn't, because she deserves better than that. Vigilante kills a dude with a knife. We get Captain Locke killing the other two detectives, telling Peacemaker and Vigilante and Eagly about the car to go ahead. Like, there's a car waiting for him up ahead. He'll take care of the rest. Captain Locke kills them. Then we get the cut back to Fitz, Song, together. You know, Fitz is talking to Song, trying to make sure she wakes up. She finally does wake up. Is talking differently. It really, and the woman playing Detective Sophie Song does such a great job of like truly playing somebody being controlled and somebody else speak, like another mind speaking through her body. Like the way we saw her act basically episodes 1 through 5.5, like the first like bit of this to like here, it's a total switch is flipped here. So she does a really great job of it. It's really good. Excuse me. As much as I've been giving a ton of credit to the woman who plays Amelia Harcourt and Danielle Brooks, who plays Adebayo, the woman who plays Detective Song, like seeing this here, like, I thought she was just doing fine before. Like it wasn't like, I'm not like, oh, get this person off the screen, she's awful. Like, no, it wasn't anything like that. Um, but seeing this, I was like, oh, this is cool. This is good. Like this is showing like uh, seeing this portrayal with her now makes me appreciate how she was acting before. Um, because that switch is different. It's a total flip of the switch. It's completely different. It's complete, and it's great. So it was really awesome to see that. Again, never thought that like she was like. I'm not saying like she was a bad actress or anything. Like I thought she was fine. She was really, she was good. Like I said, I like most of like the supporting cast other than the White Dragon. Sorry, Robert Patrick. Um, but wait, so Fitz wakes up. Detective Song is starting to talk a little like funny, but she just like gets up and like starts walking away. We cut back to Vigilante and Peacemaker traveling in the car. I love me some car travel or van travel in this. With the especially with these two, we get the secure phone in this. Peacemaker takes out his iPhone, tries to make a call. Vigilante takes it, starts beating it, and then just throws it out, and we see it all crack on the. We see it all crack on the street as they're driving away, and Peacemaker is like, "Oh man, why'd you do that? Like that was an irreplaceable phone. It had irreplaceable pictures of Eagly on it. It was a completely secure phone. I got it from the people that we're working for." And like Vigilante's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, dude. I didn't mean to." And all of it is extremely funny. uh, Peacemaker doesn't like goes on. He doesn't know anything about the cloud. And Vigilante is also like, man, you're different right now, like about how you're acting with all this stuff, and like we have an alien invasion going on. Like this is everything we've ever wanted, and you're all like life is sacred, and like it's a really interesting conversation of like Vigilante is like, we used to do all this stuff and like not care about anything, and now you're being like, I care, things are different now and stuff. Vigilante's getting pushed the wrong way. It's actually kind of funny about it. We get a cut back to the police station with Detective Song and Fitz, and they meet with Locke. We get all of them are like, all of them here are dead. We see Captain Locke um, trying to. We see Captain Locke trying to like just like hold their hands and like do all this stuff. We get, he does a weird like go that way to Detective Song, and like right away she just like goes and takes off. It's like, I don't know if it was some sort of like hand gesture or signal or anything like that between them. But yeah, Detective Song then walks away. Fitz is there with the captain, and then the captain describes the hamburglar to Fitz. Fitz runs back to Detective Song and says the same thing. Either he is too shaken to know what he has seen, or he's messing with us. And Detective Song is just like, I think he's working with them. And working with who is like Fitz's reaction. Locke gets the diary once he returns back to Peacemaker's house, starts flipping through it, is like, this is great. Then we get back to HQ. Hardcore gets the call from Peacemaker and Vigilante saying they'll be here shortly. Adebayo is like, gets a weird look. They ask about, like, we get some more talk about the diary. We get Peacemaker arrives. He gets questioned about the diary. He admits that, or we get Vigilante admitting that he kept Butterfly Goff. He didn't, and Peacemaker's like, I didn't trust any of you. None of you guys gave me answers or anything. We get the Goff inside Detective Song. Now we have the whole conversation that they have over referring to somebody as Asian. which was a really great conversation to have. Just be a little bit more respectful, of people. And but Danielle Brooks, the way that she rips into like Peacemaker in it is awesome. It's really great. I highly recommend watching the show. Again, Danielle Brooks is like my favorite part of this whole series, like hands down. If you watch this show for one thing and one thing only, watch it for Danielle Brooks because she is fantastic. She is fantastic in everything in it. She gives such a great performance. I really love it. At least I think it's a really great performance. You're great. She's great as Leota Adebayo. Awesome, fantastic. Can't get enough of it. So we have that conversation. We have the conversation, or this is still at the HQ. We have the conversation about the political correctness. Peacemaker again makes a stupid comment about a snowflake scorecard. We also find out that John might have found out the source of where the food is coming from. The supposed cow that was mentioned earlier in the episode of like where all the food is being farmed from to then being shipped to that distribution hub to be processed and like bottled and all of that. We get a cut back to the police station. Detective Song's on a computer sending out her message to all of the other butterflies or whatever. I mean, it's all alien language. Fitz shows up and is like, those aren't even words. Those are just symbols and stuff. So all of it's all really great. And like, you can feel the tension building. Like you can feel it all building to something here. And like, it's all happening now. Like the boulder has been released and Indiana Jones is running. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens, see who will get hit and who will survive. We go back then to the Peacemaker after we see Fitz and Detective Song having the conversation in the police station. Because Fitz is saying like we're gonna bring the medics here. We also get a really interesting thing about Goff and like the butterflies saying that once you get into a new body, you gotta relearn how to smile because smiling is different for every single person. It was something that was really funny and really interesting to think about in the idea of like somebody or something or some sentient being taking over the body of somebody else that or taking over a body that isn't theirs basically is a really fascinating kind of idea and interesting thing to think about just like on a creative side if you ever wanted to create a character or something like that or like a world like that's just I just find that to be a really fascinating concept. So it's really great but they go back to or we're back at the HQ and we do see that John has confirmed the route of everything that they need to do. He knows the trucks, he knows the path, he knows everything. They see the barn and they're like, that can't hold this kind of cow thing. And like Murn's like, butterflies burrow, didn't you see underneath the Goff residence? And they were all like, oh yeah. We get we get the whole plan now of what Murn wants to do: destroy the food, destroy the butterflies, destroy the supply chain. We kill the cow. Everything happens from there. Peacemaker is we get like Peacemaker still like not necessarily overreacting, acting kind of appropriately, that he's still being like left out of the loop and not really being told like what's going on and what's the point. He kind of looks to Adebayo for like a little bit of support because they got each other's backs and stuff, and she doesn't say anything. She doesn't have his back, unlike what he was thinking before. And I didn't buy Cena, John Cena in this scene, unfortunately. Like his hurt. Um, I didn't really buy his performance in the scene, and it's really, I'm going to be honest, probably the only time in this entire series where I've been like, ooh, that performance, that facial expression, what I'm seeing here does not match what at least I felt should be there, like emotional wise, like on that level. I just didn't like it. I would have thought maybe do another take, or use a different take. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe that'll be a moment that is like completely paid off later on, and I all will be clear to me. But I don't know. It's like the only time where I've been like, I mean, short of just like hating the White Dragon and not like really wishing that that character wasn't in this show at all. Um, it's just one of those things. Like it's the only thing where I was like, I don't know if I agree with that decision in all of this. But anyway, and so we get like in that moment with like Cena being kind of hurt, not like kind of, but like being really hurt by Adebayo not really having his back. Uh, again, it's one of the first things I said was a real miss. Then we move to outside of the police station. Um, and Detective Song is greeting all the butterfly ships arriving here to, start their continued invasion, because we saw in, episode maybe four, maybe, yeah, episode four, maybe three or four, where we saw all the butterflies like light up red on the screen and everything like that. Uh, we get a great song, um, like the music, song choice, and stuff. I mean, the music throughout all of this series has been pretty good. The title sequence song I've liked since episode one. I just find the title sequence so like weird and off-putting with everybody's face being like there's no emotion on it. I just find it so weird. Uh, but here, while the butterfly ships arrive and everything like that, the music that they're playing is really great. We have the arrival of the butterflies and them all kind of like chittering out of their ships and everything. We see the white dragon back at his house, getting dressed, getting into his uniform for what we know to eventually go and hunt down his son to go kill his son. We get a cut back to Song again, Detective Song, feeding on the butterfly like honey goop stuff, leading the flying butterflies behind her, heading into the police station. We get the white dragon entering his. Sorry. And we get the white dragon entering his quantum like storage thing or whatever, and we get him suiting up into his white dragon armor. The song is still like rocking in the background. We get Detective Song in. Excuse me. We get Detective Song inside the police station now with all the butterflies, going into all the different people that are inside the police station, all people inside the jail, everything. We get it all. It's a bloody, gory mess. A smorgasbord of just great, like, physical effects like that, like special effects, makeup effects. It's awesome. It's such great stuff. It was so, like, awesome and reminiscent of like Tom Savini and all of that kind of stuff. It was really great. I really loved it. Uh, I also we also get the white dragon fully dressed in his garb. He gets his head dressed on. We get a cutback to then all of the people in the police station, Fitzgibbons, Locke, everyone, because we heard Song talk about the everyone having to relearn once you take over a new body, having to relearn how to smile. We get everyone walking with these kind of looking smiles. They're all like stuff, and it's all sorts of funny. It's all sorts of funny and wacky and wild, and it's that whole like little bit of them walking down the hallway though with those goofy smiles is really great. We cut back to the white dragon. We get all the followers around him giving their like symbol, like hand gesture symbol to him. We get probably one of my favorite moments in it is with Adebayo and Kia. They have a really sweet moment together of like, my mom made me do this thing, betray this lovable goof, who like has really been nothing but like kind to me, and like I genuinely feel bad that like I had to like do this thing to him. It's killing me inside. It's making me feel really bad. Like I feel like I'm even going against the team now and stuff. And like I just hate kind of doing this. Kia's like, don't worry. I know you took this because we were both out of work. Let's move back to Gotham. Which was interesting to hear that they came from Gotham, but that Kia said that she could borrow money from her sister if they needed it. I wonder if that in any way will connect to maybe Batgirl or something like that we might see later on. Or maybe it's just there to hang out for whatever and it's not really connected to anything bigger other than it's possible that Kia has a sister that has some money that can, or that would be able to lend them some money to help them out during this tough time. Totally plausible as well. Either way, we have this really great like moment between them, and it was just really nice to see this sweet, like, tender, wholesome moment. Harcourt, we see her after this sweet, tender moment with Adebayo and Kia. We have Harcourt carving into one of the guns there, Peacemaker's Dove of Peace. He walks in and asks like Harcourt, like, "Hey, have you seen Adebayo? I feel like she's like avoiding me or something." And he gets the gun with the Dove of Peace carved into it, and he's like, "Oh, the dove's on the wrong side, or the tail of the dove is on the wrong side." But and like Harcourt's like, "Come on, dude, really? You can't just say thank you. I appreciate you doing this. Just being nice for a second." And he says that he doesn't want to kill people anymore, and he really didn't care about the Dove of Peace thing. That he said it because he wants to try and like push people away. He doesn't want to kill people, and he's just like kind of acting out like that. And Harcourt's like, "Well, tomorrow we need you to kill some bugs and stuff. So like, and like the butterflies and the aliens and like." Peacemaker's like, no, I got no problem with that. It's like people that I'm really having an issue with, and like bug aliens definitely got no problem with them. So again, this is like that growth that Peacemaker's supposed to be going through, and we're starting to see that change through him. We have been seeing it all throughout this season. We definitely had that conversation really heavy-handed to us this week with definitely heavy-handed to us this week with like Vigilante And like we had Adebayo talking about John, like you should just be nicer to him, think about the words you choose. We have him like kind of saying this now with like Harcourt. Um, but Harcourt does say that I don't think like when you first started I thought you were a total piece of shit. Now I want to say that you're only about 85. The rest is okay. Harcourt finally tells Peacemaker her real name, Amelia. Well, her first name, Amelia, because Amelia, knew Peacemaker's first name, Chris, and they say goodnight and like goodbye. And it was confirmed for this episode already that here John Cena starts playing the piano, and it's a really beautiful, awesome moment here to almost end the episode. John Cena's sitting there. He plays the piano. It's really beautiful. It's heartfelt. It's memorable. It's really good too. So it was really impressive that, like, as I'm talking about earlier in this episode, that like I didn't really buy John Cena's performance, but like here in this very intimate Cena performance as Peacemaker playing the piano, like I bought this a lot, and I thought this was really good. So I want to give credit where credit is due. Like John Cena was impressive playing the piano here, both playing it as it was confirmed by James Gunn as well, but also like the actual acting expressions and stuff that we get. Like John Cena during this piano scene does a really turns in a really great performance. It's really good. And then we get in my notes here I said I wanted the same kind of level from Cena and the Adebayo scene earlier. Then we get Vigilante coming in after Peacemaker's done playing the piano. A bit like, dude, I thought you said you didn't have a diary. He's like, I don't, it was like a notepad, or it was like a notepad with some like ideas on it or whatever. And we see a news report of Locke, the entire police department, holding up the Peacemaker diary, showing the plans of like the butterfly and the alien invasion, and he's the only one to do it, basically setting up Peacemaker to be the crazy guy going after the butterflies, despite now the announcement of Peacemaker being enemy number one of all police stations and everything. Then we get the like Peacemaker's like, oh shit, and we get a cut to black and we get the credits rolling. The post-credit scene is Locke doing a lot more like outtakes of like trying to be dramatic. Okay, be dramatic, holding the other actors' hands and stuff. Like, it was really funny. It was really great. I really love this episode. It's interesting to see now that Peacemaker is now like enemy number one, or like sought after enemy number one by all police stations like in the area, in the world now, basically. So I'm excited to see what happens. I've run pretty long, so I'm going to end it here. Again, my name is Jimmy Clark. I want to thank you for joining us here at the Triple C Collective for Superhero Saturday for Peacemaker, Episode 6, Murn After Reading. And I want to thank you all for joining me. You all stay safe. Have a great day.